So let's talk about innovation. And as a case, we'll take one of the projects we've delivered over the year for a customer. It's a public transport organization in the Netherlands called RET. And I was wondering, who took the public transport this morning to go to this area, to this venue? You did? And what is the most important for you as a traveler? If you take public transport. Get there on time. And how do you know you're going to get there on time?
I don't.
You don't. And suppose there's a disruption. What do you do then? How do you give feedback? You don't? Huh?
How do I get feedback?
How do you give feedback if you're waiting for the metro or something like that and it doesn't arrive?
Well, the metro here actually gives you an estimate of when the next metro is coming.
Ah, that's smart. Mm-hmm. Okay.
Is that the right answer for you?
Oh, it's one of the solutions the PTOs use, because it's all about managing expectations. Mm-hmm. It can be delayed, but okay, if you know it will be there in 2 or 3 minutes, you can decide what to do,
exactly,
or to skip or not. So that's one of the important things. And the most funny thing is that I recognize that when you're developing systems, we are very proud about ECT, get feedback from customers. Well, actually, in these organizations, the primary source of that is Twitter. Their CEO has got the Twitter feed online. So all day, if anything goes wrong, he directly goes to the company and asks, guys, what's going on? Why is one of our travelers complaining about the disruption or the timetable? So it's the most, I think, accurate and uncontrolled feedback mechanism you have. But you got to do something about it. So let's go into the case. It's called the Rotterdam Electric Tram Company. It's situated in the Netherlands. And if we pointed out, it's in Rotterdam area, probably known for a large harbor area. And there in 1878, they utilized the first horse tram in the area. Then around 1900, there came electric tram. Then they transformed their name to the Rotterdam Electric Tram Company. So they added some buses in 1927. They also added the metro system at the end of the 1968, after 9 years of constructions. And in 2008, they also added a fast ferry for travelers going to this area, where there's a container area where a lot of people work. So a lot of history, but the main important thing about Rotterdam is they've got a mentality. And in Dutch we call it niet lullen maar poetsen. And actually, if you translate it right, they say, don't muck up, go to work, just do it. So the guys in Amsterdam, they tend to talk about a lot and don't work. But in Rotterdam, it's more like a harbor mentality. Don't muck around, just do it. Okay, so what does it mean? They've got about 600,000 travelers a day. It's about 185 million on a yearly basis. And it's a crowded environment. And people really rely to go to work on the public transport. So if anything goes wrong, a lot of things happens. These are the guys from RET and the metro systems. And one of the things that RET is very proud of is to be an innovative company. So when they introduced what we call the public transport chip card in 2005, they were the first large area to implement it and to give that sort of services, so you don't have to buy tickets anymore. And now it's used all over the country. But innovation is key to them. So as soon as they are able to find a new way to innovate, and this is all what the case is about, they will embrace it. So a lot of travelers. And if you look at the public transport, if the vehicles they utilize, they've got a lot of, say, buses going around, about 34 lines. They got the metro systems were running. They got the trams, and also the fast ferry. And what is very important for them is that they all work on a timely basis. So logistics is key to them. Being able to have frequent services is eminent. So the main goal also, as a company, is actually saying, okay, what is your mission statement? Their mission statement is quite simply, more satisfied travelers. And how do they do that? Good service every day. That means reliable, good information, safe transport, friendly and proud staff also, and well-designed connections. So you can change your way of traveling if anything goes wrong. Okay? So what's hard then? Well, this is in a regular situation, but what happens if you've got planned events? So it's a big city, And it's also well known for sport events. So one of them is what we call the Rotterdam Marathon. I've done it 4 times now so far. So it was about 40,000 people going to Rotterdam, visitors from abroad also. So they have to lock whole areas where there's no transport available anymore because, well, all of these guys are running over there. But also other events in the summer. We've got like the summer carnival in June, or the North Sea Jazz Festival. So you can do a lot of things in the Rotterdam area, and transport is important. Now, this isn't a real issue because you can plan this in advance. They know from experience how much traffic there will be, which lines will be utilized or have to be redirected, and they can make a schedule of it to inform the travelers. It's only the volume of information in a short time space that they have to send to the traveler that's an issue. But the information itself, it isn't. The main issue they have are the unplanned events. So, well, the Dutch tend to don't drive so good, so sometimes there's a small collision, or with a bus. It's a different way of parking in Rotterdam. Sometimes there's a strike, or the equipment doesn't work. It also happens over here. Or due to bad weather. So we had a good winter this year. So, and these are the things, okay, what do you have to do in that case? It means disruption in the timetable. It means informing people that the bus doesn't work. You have to go to another line. You will be late for work or your presentation. And the only thing you can do is inform your travelers of what the situation is and what the advice is for them to do. But then imagine this. You got 600,000 travelers a day. You've got a central control center, where it's actually their command center. You've got their control agents for the bus, the tram, and the metro. And in the center of the room is the travel informant agent. He or she is the one responsible for informing all the travelers about what's going on. And it's quite a hectic situation. So, for instance, if the bus hits a tram, it's double trouble, actually. So they have to start arranging all logistical scenarios, rerouting the traffic, and also informing the travel information, okay, which lines, which travelers should be informed about what information. And actually that's done by hand. So they yell, or if it's complex, they got a little bell to ring to go to a table. And then they grab that checklist with all the different communication channels via website, Twitter, etc. And they start entering all the data, one after another in different systems. So it takes about 20 minutes for one disruption to inform all the travelers. And then what happens? It scales up. The disruption is even worse than that. So you have to do it all over again. So they've got a great difficulty in timely informing their travelers. And if you combine that with the feedback by Twitter, it's almost instantly. I haven't heard it from RET in 2 minutes. What's going on? Why don't they react? So they had to innovate. They had to improve the process. So what was the basis they had? What were actually the standard systems they had? And this is a picture of the application landscape. Over here you can see they're using SAP, financials, HR. They're also using systems for the metro. It's a bespoke custom systems, but 15 years old in this case. And the only one who can do the maintenance is one of the original developers. So a bit of a continuity issue over there. They've got rostering systems over there. They've got also for the logistics, they've got their operational system over here. It's an ERP system. And then over here, they've got all sorts of informations like the websites, like dynamic information panels to distribute the information to the displays on the bus and tram halt displays. So, but they did one good thing good. Instead of connecting all systems to each other, they decided to build some sort of a central data store, and it's called RET. And RET stands for actually RET, Internal Data Store. So if you zoom in, these are the systems that are relevant for this case. We've got the operational systems, the logistical systems, and we've got the systems over here to communicate. And all of that is done via the RET control database. And actually this is a SQL database store. And what we do over here is you can have the time schedule. And what it actually does, it is a schedule with the predicted lines and routes and the expected volume of travelers who will utilize these routes over the next 90 days. And that's updated every day, and that's distributed all over the systems. So it's a quite intelligent time schedule. Also central authorization for single sign-on, because in the control center you don't want to miss out time logging in, interfacing information for all other systems, and also rostering employee information for planning and doing things. But these 4 areas are the ones that were relevant for, in this case, our system. And it's updated, say, on a daily basis. It's got a total synchronization mechanism in it. So we have to connect to the internal data store, and actually this is part of their actually system of records. It's been fed into a RET. Okay? So what's the problem? The problem is actually customer satisfaction. On a yearly basis, every PTO in the Netherlands is being reviewed. They do a customer survey. They ask about 40,000 travelers, okay, what's the quality of service you've been delivered, and what should be improved? And over the years, the Dutch complain about 2 things. Well, one's quite obvious. That's money. We always think it's too expensive. So on the value for money side for traveling, we're not always pleased. But the other one is actually about information about delays. So if there's a disruption, you're badly informed. And in this case, RET is even one of the better PTOs in the Netherlands. But subsequently, it's not enough for them. So this was an area they wanted to improve. And it took about a program for them for 2 years to figure out how can we improve this information. And they were wondering about changing the role of the place actually of the travel information inside the control center. They were thinking about using scenarios. So if the Erasmus Brug doesn't work anymore, what could happen? What sort of logistical scenarios could be used? And what sort of communication could be used? And the one thing they really like to do is to be able to inform the travelers faster. So this was the one. And the target should be, if the project was actually, we'll do a new survey in 2012, and it should be a positive number, positive outcome compared to this one. So, and very appealing because we started the project in July. So we only had a few months to build the system, go live, and be able to have impact on results. So this is the system actually we built with OutSystems. It was also one of the first agile projects at RET. They've got a small IT department mainly responsible for hosting and also doing the maintenance. And they selected, in this case, COOLProfs to build the application on an agile way. So first there was a prototype which they used to figure out if it would work in an operational scenario. And then we've made it. This is actually their control screen in which they can monitor if there are any disruptions going on and what sort of messages are relevant for them. So here we've got the type of transport. So these are the bus disruptions, tram disruptions. They've got some sort of a classification. And every planned and unplanned disruption can be registered in this system. But the most important thing is not registering it, is communicating it. So this is, these are the channels they utilize. Website, tablets, Radio Rijnmond. And the biggest difficulty with the different channels is they have got different sort of length. So how do you create a message that will suit all different channels? And actually what you want to do, you want to automate it fully. Instead of missing out, because the travel informers are really keen on writing good information to the customers. So if you have to speed it up and you have to deliver quality, it's an issue. So the most important things that the management considered is they were wondering, okay, what channels are relevant? They said, okay, let's use the website, let's use the Twitter site, let's go to, let's ensure that our people on site who are on the street and travelers talk to, they are also known for it, and that the tram displays, they're all filled with this information. So the first one is the website. The website we interfaced with a Typo 3 website. We made a standard web service and we connected to it. So all the disruptions are now displayed there real time. The second one is Twitter. In the first release, the Twitter interface was behind the website interface, and it was a kind of delay. It was only 5 minutes, but it was too long. So now we've got a direct Twitter feedback, and this is key because, well, as I mentioned, the CEO, he's watching his RET messages all the way. And, well, the Dutch, we're quite open. So if it doesn't work, they'll tell us. You got the dynamic displays. These are the displays for the bus and the trams. There's also a third-party system, also utilizing web services. And one of the difficulties over here is that you've got a limited amount of place to broadcast your message. And you've got also a limited number of messages you can subsequently broadcast. So one of the things that we'll implement in the new release, that's every 2 months we implement a new version of it. It will always help the travel informants to make them aware that there could be too much messages being broadcasted to a certain area. So if you've got lines connecting to each other, you can easily get mixed up with a number of messages. So this one is working. The tablets, also one of the innovation parts of RET. This summer, they've distributed about 700 tablets to their personnel. And we are now using a channel to inform them. And they've also made some sort of an application so they can also offline have data storage, because in the metro system there's not a coverage of 3G and Wi-Fi all the time. So they have to figure it out. But this is one of the key elements of relevant information for them to have information about the timetables and disruption also in the metro system. Public transport, also one of the channels. All the public transport organizations in the Netherlands have to deliver information on a nationwide basis to a central website. These guys were not so, they were still working on the web service interface. So in the meantime, what we did is we created for them an email interface, and they type it over. Within 2 months, it also will be a web service interface, so they have also real-time information. And this can also be utilized for different sort of management layers. So you can decide who must be informed about which disruption at what time within the RET organization. SMS text. So as I mentioned, the fast ferry. Fast ferry, the people who travel that can also have a subscription on informing them about delay. So in advance, before even they arriving at the fast ferry, they know what sort of delay is relevant for them. So that's also implemented using SMS City as an interfacing party. Radio Rijnmond, this is a local radio station. And so even while they're doing the messaging, they also have to interrupt into the radio just after the news. They have to talk to the newsreader and then combine the messages. So in this case, we combine the different sort of messages to one story, and then they'll talk to actually the presenter over there. And finally, and that's also one of the innovation moments, when we started it, they said, okay, what we like to have is text-to-speech. And we were saying, okay, why do you want text-to-speech? I mean, you've got your travel informants there in your central control tower. Well, they say, okay, the tone of voice is different, there could be a stress level, there's other noise around it. So we would like to automate it, and we would like to be sure that everything that should be in the message is also broadcasted or spoken. To do this, we did a survey on different sort of text-to-speech solutions, and finally we chose the Ivona, which was acquired by Amazon in January. It's a SaaS service, so we combined the OutSystems application, we create the message, we send it over to Ivona. We got all sort of aliases to pronounce it correctly, because some of the street names are, well, they're Dutch, so. And then now they can play it. So, and what they do is they link it through to all the metro systems, and they decide which message is relevant for them. And as soon as they've done that, they just click on the play button, and it's all recorded. It's all got a logging in. So if anything happens, they can afterwards look, okay, what sort of message was broadcasted via which channel, and actually, do we meet our KPIs? That's what this is all about. So, does it work? Yes, it did. Yes, it does, I must say. We went live. We did the final training in October for them after 3 months. And they went live on the 4th of November. As I said, on a daily basis, we do about 600,000 travelers. The number of disruptions is around 30, 35. Depends on if there are events or not. They do use the RET database, and we keep on using that because it's because they distribute this information to different systems. We can also, if you're communicating, we can use the coding of the lines, the internal coding instead of the external coding, how the way the travelers see it. So it helps us. It's crafted with OutSystems. They operate it themselves. They maintain it themselves. And it's also for them a platform to do further applications. So it's the first of an application portfolio. Supporting multi-channel. And what we actually did is in the first release, we did the first channels. And subsequently, after every 2 months, we did additional channels. So we make sure that now we can support every communication channel available at this moment. And perhaps in the future it'll also be Facebook or whatever channel pops up. And it's relevant for the travelers. And what we think, creating valuable travel information. From an operational point of view, the guys who are responsible, marketing is very keen because marketing wants to have qualified information. They want to be sure that every disruption is actually known for what's the cause, what's the effect, what's the forecast to them, and do we scale up, do we scale down, which channels did we use, and that's relevant for them. And from the REs, they have to be able to, if the volume increases of disruptions or the communication about one disruption and the number of channels, they have to be work more efficient. So they did some testing, and in the beginning it took 20 minutes, and now they've got about an average of 2 minutes for every minute to be broadcasted over all the channels. And that's really a tremendous improvement for them. They don't like to tell it to the travelers, because before that they say, okay, I had to wait 20 minutes, but okay. Now they can say, within 2 minutes, everyone is informed. So don't worry. The main thing is what did the traveler think? So we did have the survey results. They were finished at the end of March. And they did the same survey, 40,000 travelers over the last year. And finally, the target was a 6. It doesn't seem high on a scale to 10, but it was the highest on the PTO. And finally, they were able to achieve that goal. So from a management point of view, they were successful. And it's also one of the solutions they're very proud of. And they also like to give presentations to other PTOs how they did it. So in this case, from a business innovation perspective, mission completed. And what about the orange suit? Well, okay, you might think I'm colorblind or just have a bad taste. But the real reason is, since last week in the Netherlands, we have a new king. It's called Willem of Orange. So, as a respect of that, we honor him by wearing orange. Thank you very much.